Okay, so completing the square is another way to solve quadratic equations. And what we're going to do is we're going to transform the equation into something that we can use the square root property on. So, for example, let's say we have x squared minus 4x minus 14 is equal to 0. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is move c over. So this is c, and we're going to move that over to the other side. So we're going to add 14 to both sides and plus 14 here. All right, so we can have x squared minus 4x. Now there's going to be a blank space here that we're going to fill in right now, equals to 14. And since we're going to add on the left, we also have to add that same number on the right. Okay, so now how do we figure out what number is going to go there? What is going to go here? Right, it's going to go here also, whatever number that is. So how do we figure that out? So to figure that out, we look at this number here. Okay, we take that number, negative 4, and we divide it by 2. We take half of it. And then we're going to square that. So negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. And then squared equals to positive 4. So that's what I'm going to add to both sides. I'm actually going to add 4 here and 4 here. All right, so on the right side, I have 18. On the left side, I have x squared minus 4x plus 4. So the reason I did that is because now this can be factored into something that multiplies times itself. So something squared, okay? And that something is actually very easy to factor now that I did this. So there's a little bit of a shortcut. It's going to be, this is going to be just x, because that's the number, that's the way to get x squared, right? You could do it the long way, but this is the shortcut. And then the number that's going to go right here is going to be half of that number, that pink number. So what is half of that pink number? Negative 4. It's going to be negative 2. Okay, so I've set it up now that I can use the square root property. So to use the square root property, again, I'm gonna rewrite this. It's x minus 2 squared equals to 18. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the square root of both sides, right? So on the left side, they're going to cancel. The square root and the squared are going to cancel. So I'm just going to have x minus 2. And that will be equal to plus or minus the square root of 18. Okay, then the next step is just to add 2 to both sides. So plus 2 here. Over here, I'm going to add 2 also. All right, but I'm going to make sure once I write this number, I'm actually going to put it in the front, right? So x, this will cancel out. So x equals 2. That's a positive 2. So 2 plus or minus the square root of 18. Right, and that's your final answer. Okay, so again, what did we do? We had an equation, right? This was the original equation. And what we did was we got rid of this number in blue. We got rid of it, right? So that number in blue came over here, right? We moved it over. So on this side it's negative. If I move it over to the other side, it becomes positive, right? And I had to add 14 to do that. Once I do that, I need to fill in that spot. This negative, this where this negative 14 was, I moved it over. So I need to actually fill in this spot. And to figure out that number, I take half. So this is me figuring out what that number is going to be. I take half of the pink number, negative 4, right? Take half of that, divide it by, so I divide it by 2, and then I square it to the second power. So negative 2 to the second power is positive 4. It will always be positive. This is always going to be a plus. This will always be a plus, okay? So again, this will always be plus, this will always be plus, always. Then that number, you add it to both sides. And on the left side, it will be, once you factor it, it'll make it easy to factor. So it's going to be x, and then half of this is minus 2, that goes here, right? Squared equals 2, and then this added up, whatever it is. In this case, it's 18. And then you solve it using the square root property after that. So take the square root of both sides, right? Take the square root of both sides, that'll cancel it out. You got x minus 2. Then add 2 to both sides, and you're pretty much done. That 2, again, write it in the front. So 2 plus or minus the square root of 18. And that's it. That's how you use complete square. Now this is one way to do it. That's when a is equal to 1. Right? So here is when a equals 1. And a, remember, is the number that's right here in the front. This number here, it's a 1 here, right? There's nothing there, so it's a 1. So that's what makes it, I guess, a little bit simpler. So I'll show you right now how to do it when it's not equal to 1.